All right, welcome back for another bonus coaching call here with one of our amazing presenters for the Young Living Success Summit. My name is Barney Kuntze. I'm the founder and creator of the YL Success Summit, an online event, an educational event that's turned into a massive community that's dedicated and committed to supporting you guys and supporting all of us. I'm a leader myself in Ontario, Canada, and we are right now we're gold leaders of Ontario, Canada. We're working towards platinum and my diamond and crown and royal crown diamond dates as well. And I say that because I want you guys to know that I'm just like you. I'm working the business. I'm sharing the oils. My wife and I are totally in love with Young Living, and we're just so very grateful and feel very blessed to be able to be surrounded by amazing people like Stacey Hall, who is our guest speaker, or rather our featured presenter tonight to share her pearls of wisdom with us tonight. And I'm going to introduce Stacey in here in just a couple seconds. I'm going to let her take it away. I just wanted to say how amazing this whole community at Young Living is. I just did an intro to the oils. I actually had 2 intro to the oils seminars just before this call, and we had enrolled 6 new people. And the one lady came to the second seminar, and she was just by herself, and we had a really great heart to heart. We could call it like a private coaching session. It was really awesome. And I don't know what's going to happen, but I just have a feeling with this lady who came that there was a special reason why she came here. And it was just the 2 of us. We were able to have a great chat and really connect. And it was just awesome. And I think it's also amazing because what's actually pretty funny and very timely is that the theme of the conversation was about getting out of your own way to wellness, which really just talking about the challenges that she's experienced with getting out of her own way, that she's went to X specialist and this person and that person. They basically said, well, there's some of the stuff that you just got to be able to change. And she said, like, why do I struggle with it? And so, Stacey, I think this presentation and your topic and our chat and call tonight couldn't be more timely. And without further ado, I want to introduce you and say thank you so much for carving the time out of your busy schedule to share your brilliance with us.
Well, it is an honor and a joy to be with you, Barney. Just so you know, you're cutting out just a little bit.
Okay.
And I'm going to say that anytime that I can be of support to my Young Living family, wherever you all are, it is a blessing for me to be able to do so. And because Young Living has given so much back to me, and through my oils, I have been able to get out of my own way. And I've been working with my team. So I'm currently silver. I'm going to say I kind of took a hiatus from growing my Young Living business. I didn't mean to. But many of you know that I was a presenter for 3 years at the Young Living Convention with the Chi generating oil anointing technique that came from my book, Chi to Be. And so for a number of years, I've actually been sharing the principles inside my book. It took my focus away from growing my own team. And this year, I made a decision that I'm putting my focus back on my own team, and every once in a while, I'll come out and share more with the entire Young Living family. So Barney, because of the amazing work of the summit and the people who are using it to really enhance their own wellness and then be able to go and share with other people, I will always make myself available to the summit. So thank you for all that you do.
You're welcome, and we appreciate it.
And that's really fabulous what you said about this person that you've been chatting with. We're having our intros too, and they're going very well. But what I hear a lot from the people we introduce the oils to or we invite to events is that they've pretty much given up. Okay, so I'm stopping for a moment. I'm hearing sometimes I sound a little faded. So is this better? Am I doing better?
No. Yeah, you're sounding pretty good. You're sounding pretty good right now, I think.
Okay, good. All right. Well, I keep hearing people say, and Barney, if you'll advance the slide, which we're going to stay on for most of the webinar. So if we can go to slide 2. These are the reasons people say they're not able to get on with their wellness. One, they think they're procrastinators. So if anybody out there relates to any of those, the chat box is open on the right side. I won't call you out by name, but if you see anything on this list as I go through them that you go, yeah, that speaks to me, would you go ahead and chat me up in the chat box so that I know where to put most of my focus tonight, because I want to speak to the people who are specifically here. So there are some people who think they're procrastinators, that they know what to do, they just don't seem to be able to get the, the wherewithal to get it done. Some people are confused about what to do for their wellness, and so that gets in their way of making progress. Some people feel like they're on a hamster wheel, if you will, and that's getting in the way, and meaning they're already doing as much as they possibly can. How are they going to stop the wheel long enough to be able to give time and attention to their wellness? Some people feel like they don't have the money to be able to attend to their wellness. And then a lot of people will say to me, I don't have time to take care of me because I'm taking care of my kids, I'm taking care of my elderly mom, my elderly dad, I've got clients who need me. So those are the reasons. And I'm just going to say, if there's somebody who doesn't see their reason on the list, again, if you put it over on the chat box on the screen, just type it in the little box there. I will be happy to address that too. So Barney, you said, yep, that's me. With all of those or anyone in particular?
Yeah, my bad. I was referring to the procrastination.
Okay. All right. So we're going to talk about procrastination in depth. And someone also has let me know that dealing with other people's needs and putting their own needs last is what's important to them. So we'll make that number 2. And then as time allows, we'll address the others. So I believe, Barney, that no one is an actual procrastinator. Okay, so you may want to call yourself one. I don't believe you are one. I believe procrastination is actually confusion.
Yeah,
And other, yeah. So tell me, so that rang true for you? Why would you say that's true? That it's confusion, not procrastination?
well, I think the procrastination part is me waiting till the very last minute to then give myself just enough time to get to the airport to get in an airplane when I don't need to do that. um,
Okay, so for you, then it might be an issue of scheduling, not just confusion. And you dropped out, so I hope, are you still there?
yes, my bad. I didn't. I didn't unmute myself. I
Okay.
procrastinated with hitting the unmute button.
Aha, okay.
You
All
know,
right, so maybe for you, it's confusion about how much time to schedule in. And that's true for a lot of people, is they're not sure how to say no to some things
yeah,
in order to say yes to the bigger things.
100%.
So, okay, good. So if procrastination has to deal with scheduling, then, and also this will address dealing with other people's needs as well. I'd like to give a way to schedule for success that comes from She to Be. It's in chapter 1 of my book. And here's what I say about scheduling. To the extent that we can, we schedule a month in advance. No more, no less. During the first 5 days of every month, I sit down with my calendar. I block out a time during, it has to be one of those first 5 days, because if it's any later than that, the month is already, it's claimed me. The month is doing me instead of me doing the month, if you know what I mean. And I look at my calendar and I say, okay, these are the things that I know I must do. It's important. You know, I've got to pay the bills. These are the times I'm going to eat. I'm going to sleep for a certain amount of time. I've got commitments to other people that I've already said yes to the month before. Okay, those go on my calendar. And by the way, I still use an old-fashioned paper calendar with a pencil with an eraser because it saves more time than doing it through technology. And I know there's a lot of people who feel like they can schedule better on technology and move things around. I promise you, I have done time contests. It's a lot faster to flip to a page, erase something, rewrite it on another page. I am long done before my friends who use online scheduling systems. That's just me. I like to do things with the velocity and ease. But I'm looking then at the things that I'm really choosing to do, and then I can clearly see what time is left. Excuse me. What time slots are left? Because by seeing that, I now get to choose how, when, and where I'm going to spend that time. Excuse me, I swallowed the wrong way. And it is easier for me to evaluate then when somebody makes a request of me, whether I'm going to do it or not do it. And one of the ways that I evaluate is what's going to get me closer to my goal. If I have this in front of me and that in front of me, which is the one I'm going to put my time into? Because that one's going to move me further down the road. So Barney, when you're talking about getting to the airport and that you procrastinated, is it that whatever you were doing before you got in the car to go to the airport, you felt was more important towards your goal than getting into the airport? Or you just knew that you could get to the airport in a certain amount of time, and that's what you scheduled for your success? So tell me a little more about that.
Yeah, I think it's a balance of both. I think just that I like to enjoy the time in my wherever I'm at. And then I'm like, okay, well, it's going to take this much, this long. I calculate the time, but I don't build in as much buffer time. I've been actually getting a lot better with it lately. I haven't been having as many issues as I have in the past, but that's just an example. And I think that it's just, yeah, it really just not scheduling as much time in for certain things to give buffer time when needed. Um, and I think the other side of it, which might sound kind of bizarre, but I think it's just part of the almost like the in a weird way the thrill or the risk taking of like how can I how tight can I make it to where I like actually get on the airplane. And that was really a lot. That was me probably more a couple of months ago or years ago, but I just use that as an example because there's still that old pattern that creeps up from time to time, and it's really linked to procrastination, which really a lot of it is just the inability to when I wasn't scheduling my time properly.
Okay, well, those old neural pathways that you talk about, brain scientists have told us, they got formed when you were a kid. And if you ever want a coaching session, we can explore what life was like in your family when you were growing up and what messages you received that led to that, the thrill of doing it at the last minute. I
Right.
will say this, that thrill is getting in the way of your wellness because what that's telling your nervous system and your adrenals is everything has to be an emergency. So your system is always overexpending, Barney. I know this. I know from whence I speak because that's what I did to myself. So I had to learn about this during the 2.5 years I laid in bed and didn't have oils at that point, learning how I got there in the first place. So I'm going to encourage you to remember that if you choose to do things differently, It's going to take 66 to 180 days, 66 to 180 days to change an old thought pattern and replace it with a new one. And when I say replace it, I do want to be clear. Scientists know we cannot get rid of our old neural pathways. Those old thought patterns will always be there. It's about creating a new pathway for our mind to take. Like, I like to think of it as the superhighway. It's 66 to 180 days of consistent awareness and action to keep reinforcing the new one, just like we did over years of the old one, Barney. So it's your choice if you want to continue to play beat the clock. Just know it is going to take a toll on your health, and then eventually, because you're younger than I am, I'll just say, you've got the oils. It'll probably help you extend the time before it catches up with you, but it will catch up with you at some point.
I can see that, and I'm open to it. I've seen that, and I think that I'm definitely aware of it and have addressed a lot more of it than I had before in the past. Where when I had missed a couple airplanes because of it, but now it's totally different. But that the other reminder about the old patterns that slowly start to creep in, I think that it's easy to, just acknowledging it for myself, it is easy to say, hey, oh, well, that's not really that big of an issue anymore or big of a deal. But they're always those patterns and pathways they're running a lot more than I have tended to give it credit.
Most of it is subconscious, and I can tell you that we will automatically fall back, all of us, into those ruts when we're tired. You can just count on it. It takes awareness, it takes concentration, it takes brain power, oil blend, to be perfectly straight about it. It takes common sense oil blend. It takes a ton of frankincense to be able to stay focused and aware. Clarity as well, throw the clarity oil blend in there. To be able to stay focused on how we want to think, how we want to behave, versus how we grew up and the belief systems that we inherited from other people, whether it was our parents, a teacher, or just television. Just know that's what we're in the process of dealing with when anything is getting in the way of our wellness. When we say we want to do something and it's not possible to do it, it's because some old belief is taking us down a highway away from where we want to go. So Barney, thanks for talking about the procrastination. I think for you it was playing beat the clock and not really having a true schedule to look at to see how much time you actually have to say yes to. Because it's really easy. If we don't have a schedule, it's really easy to say yes, thinking we can, oh yeah, that'll take me 5 minutes. But how many things did we already say yes to? And is it really even possible?
Yeah, I can
All
relate.
right. And any questions about that before I go on to dealing with other people's needs?
For me personally, no. I think that it's really good insight. I appreciate it.
Okay, great. And if anyone else has questions, feel free to speak up or put them in the chat box. If this is working for you, I'd love to know. If it's working for you and you're not muted, could you just say, yes, this is working? Maybe everybody's muted.
Yeah, yeah. Most people are muted.
Okay, and if you're not muted and it's not working for you, then be sure to tell me what, okay, somebody's letting me know. Yes, okay, thank you very much. But if it's not working for you, please be sure to speak up and ask a question, and someone else saying it's working. All right, good. So we're going to jump down to what gets in the way of our own wellness is taking care of other people's needs. I'm going to give a few practical tips from my book. I'm also going to preface it with some information. Call it my belief system, and it's pretty well factual. That might seem very unsympathetic to other people's situations. I apologize in advance. Stay with me to the end, though, for those of you who might get a little bit offended by what I'm about to say, because the only reason I'm bringing it up is that if we can deal with the facts, and it allows us to be able to be more objective and less emotional in the situation, then we can think more clearly. Elderly parents, we can expect that at some point they're going to need support and assistance. This is actually also an issue of scheduling for success. Because if we can anticipate and plan ahead for when that's going to occur, then everybody has the opportunity to have a conversation about what it's going to look like. Who's going to be the one to help? How do we make sure that that person's needs are getting taken care of too? Who's going to help them? I know that that sounds like Pollyanna, perfect world, when the situation comes up as an emergency. I get that. But if the conversations can be held long before the emergency situations start to begin, we're ahead of the game. And that's where Into the Future oil blend, I say, would really help. Being able to envision what could happen in the future and create a game plan for it. So let's say that isn't possible. We didn't do that. And here the situation is now. Parents are requiring transportation to their doctors. Sitting and waiting for their doctors takes up a lot of our time. Well, that's where we also have to think to ourselves. I can expend energy right now, but if I don't replace that energy, how will I have it to give in the future? People will say to me that they don't have money to bring people in to help their parents. There are actually, in most cities still, there are services that are free or low cost. There are churches and temples that often have people who are volunteers to help. There are caregiver support groups, which are really important. If you can't create one amongst your friends, finding one in your community that you could go to or call to be able to vent and get the frustrations out. Oils that can support us. I'm going to say right away, white angelica oil blend. Extremely important. It protects our own energy field. Putting it on our collarbones and our shoulders every morning. This is something that Gary Young has said many times in the past for healers, massage therapists, chiropractors, Reiki healers. And I say every human being who is being of service to others, white angelica is first and foremost your own protection. Energy oil blend over the kidneys for extra adrenal support. Or just nutmeg if you don't have energy where you are or it's out of stock. These are important oils to have. Valor is extremely important. Valor, the original, or Valor 2, doesn't matter, on the soles of the feet, on the tailbone, to give us a stronger backbone when we're dealing with other people's stuff. To be able to have a backbone to be able to say, no, that's not going to work for me today. We're going to have to work out something else. Not everything has to be an emergency. It might seem like it if we're feeling very emotional. It might seem like it if we've allowed ourselves to get very tired. And of course, that's also when our supplements are extremely important. Our Ninja Red, alkaline, Super C, Super B especially. You know, we want that vitamin Bs in our system to help deal with the emotional stress that can be out there during these times. Being able to remember that we will not be able to sustain our wellness to help others unless we put ourselves first. It is not selfish, it is selfless to restore our energy first. So I want to stop there and see if anybody would like to talk with me about it. If you think that I'm being too simplistic, tell me that. Barney would love to have your input on this, because you've got parents, you've got two young kids already, another one on the way. You know, you're supporting a Young Living team. There's tons of people who are going to come up to you on a daily basis and say, Barney, what should I do for this issue? You know, you're in the fitness business. What do you feel about what I've shared so far?
Yeah, I think that you can't give from an empty cup, and that it's easy to recognize what it is that we need to do, or we know that we need to do. It's just actually doing it that may appear as though it's hard, but it's not actually hard. Knowing what to do and then not doing it is even harder. However, it is, for whatever reason, on some level, um, I think that I've fell into this before. We're like, oh, I know I need to be doing this, but I'm not, or whatever. And then I just started to question, well, do I really need to be doing it? Like, what is that going to serve me right now in my life? It's 21 hours. There's my computer again. But yeah, it does. I do find that when I have people, whether it be clients, staff, family members, or just friends that come to me and ask for some help or guidance or insight, or to help make a decision or whatever, I'd always just say back, well, what do you think you should do? And, or like, you know, I say, well, what do you think is the best decision or choice in this matter? And then you should come up with it. But the thing is, they usually already kind of know. It's just that we just need, as human beings, I think it's important to have some reinforcement. So I think that a lot of what we're talking about is really giving reinforcement to each other, and recognizing that it's only our perception that what we've been given as a challenge has, whatever challenge we might be having in life, that it could only be our perception that it's too much for us to handle, but we wouldn't have been given it if it was actually too much to handle. I don't know if that makes any sense. Were you hearing me there, Stacy?
One time when I thought that if I said no, the world was going to fall apart. And they said to me, that's because you think you're the center of everybody's universe. If you were not in the picture, they would figure out a way to get their needs met. You just are always in the picture. And so I just want to let that sink in for a moment, like it did for me when the person said it. Oftentimes, we're putting that burden on ourselves that we have to be the one to do it. We just may be the one who can call in other people to help. And maybe in the past, we asked people and they said no, and we stopped. So in my book, I talk about creating a strategic attraction plan. It's actually chapter 4. I show you how to create one to begin to consider what would it look like to have the kind of support that you need to be able to help with what you're doing. So I've received a request from someone to talk about what do you do when you're dealing with teenagers who, with all of their hormonal issues and maybe some others, in that particular case, so we're not dealing with older adults, we're dealing with children for whom legally we are still responsible. Again, this might not be the most popular answer that I could give, and it's the truthful answer. As long as we are legally responsible for the children in our home, that has to be, after taking care of ourselves, our most important responsibility. But I say after taking care of ourselves, because we will not have the ability to take care of them if we are exhausted, if we are emotionally drained, if we have not eaten well, and if we've not taken our oils and our supplements. And I know people say to me, the kids will not eat what I prepare for them if it's healthy, and they won't use the oils. And we know why that is. It's because the vibration's high and they're in a low vibration because their hormones are wherever they are. Okay, diffuse lemon. Diffuse lemon all day long. Diffuse orange all day long. Helping to clear out those molecules, helping to clear out the emotional agitation. I promise you, if you diffuse those all day long, every day, you will start to see a shift in people. Just can't stick around that stuff. Making sure that you're eating good, nutritious food, not food on the run. If that means say no to something that you really want to do right now, and it's a choice between eating well or doing that, always choose eating well. Always. Not eating well is the biggest challenge to wellness. And well is fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, clean meat if you eat meat. Those 3 things. Wolfberries from Young Living. You want a snack? Snack on the bars. Snack on the wolfberries. I happen to be gluten sensitive, nut sensitive, dairy sensitive. But the products that Young Living has that I can eat, especially the chocolate, I go for it. But I don't allow myself to skip meals anymore. Carrot sticks, celery sticks with hummus. Easy and nutrition packed. As opposed to what we're going to tend to grab when we're in an emotional state. And again, those super C and the super B, especially super Bs, do it. And I would say find all the delicious recipes that you can get oils into that they would eat. So my favorite snack, because it tastes just like Good and Plenty, which I can't have anymore, and it's loaded with sugar anyway, is the dried Ninja Wolf berries with fennel oil, a couple of drops of fennel oil. Chewy, tastes like licorice, delicious. There's tons of chocolate recipes. You know, the Young Living blog has fabulous recipes. Being able to create food that's fun, that's loaded with the oils, is a way to get to the teenagers. And when they see that you are making sure you're eating and you're inviting them to the table, you're having time with them, it will calm the tension down. I'm not saying it's going to shift them. It may not cure whatever's going on with them right now. That might take a professional. And I completely say go to a nutritionist, go to a homeopathic doctor, go to a naturopathic doctor who can look at the person's system as a whole. So if you're taking them to doctors, are you taking them to medical doctors, or are you taking them to homeopathic, naturopathic nutritionists who can help them balance their hormones, teach them how to eat well, listen to their complaints and concerns? This is where those reinforcements come in. Who are we using to support us in helping to support others? And again, that's where the strategic attraction plan comes in. And I'm glad, it looks like somebody was saying that what I was talking about, the diffusing the lemon and the orange, really, tell me somebody who doesn't like lemon or doesn't like the smell of orange. I can tell you tons of people who don't like the smell of lavender. Don't do lavender. But those bright, sunny citrus oils, tangerine, citrus fresh, it's fabulous. So, Barney, what did you think about that, or anyone else? Love to get your feedback.
I thought it was great. And I feel, did I cut out before?
You sure did.
I'm sorry to leave you hanging there.
Well, that's okay. So I'm just so, if anybody wants to give more feedback about this, again, if we're legally responsible for somebody, then yes, we have to give that priority. But that doesn't mean it all has to fall on our own shoulders. Letting the community know that we could use help. And I'm going to give you a specific example from my life. My dad has passed on. He's been gone for, let's see, since about 12 years now. For 5 years before that, he had had a stroke and was dealing with the issues of the stroke, and he was in a wheelchair full time. My mother would take him out, and she would get very, very agitated because it was hard to get him out of the car, into the chair, wheel him around, and she was wearing herself out. This is what I saw. I'm not saying she would say it. This is what I saw. And she'd get short-tempered, then she would be exhausted, she wouldn't eat right. I could just see this whole cycle. So I did it differently when I took my dad out. And he'd say to me, "You can't take me. It's hard for your mother." I'd say, "Dad, I got this." And we'd pull up to someplace, restaurant, a store, wherever. I'd open the door, and I would wait until someone came along. And I would say, "Excuse me, would you be willing to give us a hand? My dad's a big guy, and I could use some help getting him into the chair." I never had anybody say no to me. I put him in the chair, off we'd go. My dad was calm, I was calm. Time to put him back in, we'd go out, doors open, he's sitting in the chair in front of the door, and I would wait till someone came along. "Could you give me a hand? Could really love to be able to help my dad into the car without causing him a problem." never had an issue. People are willing to help if we can be very specific with them what we need. Now, the converse side. Let's say someone asks us to help, and we don't want to do it. We don't really have the time to do it, but we don't want to come across looking like, please excuse me, I'm going to use the B word, a bitch. For guys, you don't want to look like a hard you know what. So instead of saying no, you say yes, and then you wind up sacrificing yourself, your time, your energy, maybe your money. I'm going to give everybody a phrase that works every time if you allow it to work. So Barney, would you like to know what the phrase is?
Let's hear it.
Okay, here's what it is. Someone says, in fact, Barney, ask me to do something, would you please? Doesn't matter, ask me anything.
Okay, would you log into my downline view or my virtual office and change my status from gold to Royal Crown Diamond?
Thank you. Thank you for asking,
Yeah.
Barney. Thank you for asking. That does not work for me.
Well,
Two sentences.
That's interesting because it would work for me.
Yeah, I know. I'm sure it would. So let me stop there before we go on because I'm going to show you what happens in the dialogue. So for everybody, if you're writing this down, it's thank you for asking, period. That does not work for me, period. Not but, not and. Thank you for asking. That does not work for me. And here's why you say it that way. And I did not create this, and the person who taught it to me did not create it. I've been using it for more than 20 years. It works as long as you allow it to work. So the first sentence, thank you for asking, acknowledges the person. And I don't say it in a bitchy, mean way. It's just thank you for asking. So they feel heard. That does not work for me. Is all I ever have to say. Nobody who's walking this earth with 2 legs or 4 or is in a wheelchair, no one requires me to tell them my reasons. Not my children, not my husband, unless I want to give them a reason. So Barney, let's keep at it. So I say, thank you for asking. That does not work for me. Give me what you were going to say to me.
Okay, can you say that again?
Yes,
What?
thank you for asking. That does not work for me.
Okay, well, what would work for you?
That doesn't work for me.
Okay, so maybe I should change my question.
Notice I'm not saying anything. I'm not going to make it easy for you, Barney, because it doesn't work for me. You'd say, what would work for me? Like, why should I come up with something for you? You're the one who's asking me. Thank you for asking. That doesn't work for me. I'm not going to figure out what would work for me to do. That's just time and energy on my part invested, not necessary. If you say to me, should I change my question? I'm just going to look at you. If we were looking at each other, if I'm on the phone with you, I'm not going to respond. I've already given you my answer.
Well, that's okay. I'll just build to Royal Crown Diamond anyways, but I just thought it'd be fun if we could do it.
I understand, and I could see where for you it would be fun, and for me, it doesn't work. Thanks for understanding.
No problem.
Okay? Now, I'm not saying the other person may not get irritated. I have no control over their irritation. I only have control over my time, my energy, my money. And in that particular case, and Barney, that was a little, Believe me, I'm going to say to you, if I had the power to do it, I got to be honest, I'd do me first and then I'd get to yours and everybody else's.
I know you
But
would.
it wouldn't be an integrity, right? And I could say that to you. It's like, well, Barney, even if I had the ability to do it, it's not an integrity, yada, yada, yada. All that would do is create more dialogue, more chatter, you know. Like, no, it doesn't work for me. That's it. If you decide to get upset with me, you know the worst thing that's going to happen to me is you're going to go find somebody else to do it, and I'm off the hook finally. And that's true about anything. If we don't want to do it and we say, not no, and it doesn't work for me, and then just be quiet. They might say, well, why not? The answer is because it doesn't work for me. But why not? Because it doesn't work for me. At a certain point, they get, you're not going to play the game to give them a reason so that they can talk you into it. It's no fun playing tug of war with somebody who's not even holding the rope. So I'm saying, don't pick up the rope. They will go find someone else. The reason they keep coming to you, whoever the you is, or me, when it used to be me, is because they got used to me never saying no. So yeah, they might get irritated a bit. They might huff off. I'm just going to tell you, my life became so much more calm, so much happier when they went and found someone else to ask all their favors of. So how's this coming across to folks? Anybody want to debate it with me? I'm happy to hear. If it's not working for you, let me help you. I would be willing, and it would work for me to hear if this is not working for you. Anybody unmuted who want to chat or want to chat in the chat box with me about it? I'll wait a minute before we go on to the next. Okay, so I'm getting folks telling me it's working for them, so that's good. Thank you. So let's talk about the lack of money, because lack of time is, I'm going to say, lack of time, yeah, there's a certain amount of finite time. I have yet to be able to meet anybody who can expand time. Even Gary Young may look like he expands time. No, he's just learned how to support his body so well that he can do more with the time he has. There will not be enough time to do everything you want at the same time. It's a fact. So choose what you're going to do that's going to maximize your time. Choose what will maximize your time and get reinforcements in. A lack of money. This too is something I talk about in She to Be, because it comes down to personal accountability. It comes also down to old mindset. I'm going to say that for sure. If you did not grow up around people who knew how to make money, knew how to manage money, you probably don't know either. That's not a failure on your part. It's not a failure on their part, really. It's just what is. So first and foremost, if somebody has a lack of money, it's really important that they start attracting to them people who know how to generate money. And that's the beauty of Young Living. We are surrounded by those people. There are more diamonds being created every day. Go follow them. Listen to them. Hang out in their energy. Get on their webinars. That's the beauty of webinars. They're recorded. You can listen after the kids go to bed or mom and dad have been put to bed. Hang out with people who have money and want to tell you and teach you how to get money. That is one of the greatest benefits of Young Living that I don't hear enough people talking about. Barney, you may feel differently or you may feel the same. But the easy access we have to leaders who are making good money, doing what we have the ability to do, and we have access to them through Facebook and other means for free. Whoa! Wow! Now that's amazing. Anybody else agree?
I do 100%.
Energy is energy is energy is energy. Hang out with people who complain that they don't have money. You're going to keep yourself in a situation where you don't have money. Hang out in conversations where people are talking about how to generate money. Keep yourself open to the fact that you have the possibility to do the same. More of those conversations, you will start to notice your money shifting, improving, your mindset improving, your energy and your productivity going way up. I'm just going to say, read my book. It's all in there. All the different ways to ensure that you are hanging out with high vibration people. High vibration people attract money. Low vibration people attract money too. But I'm going to tell you, high vibration people attract money and know how to share it and teach others. Low vibration people who attract money are greedy. And Barney, I'm just wondering, that was a pretty bold statement on my part. Do you agree or disagree?
I would agree.
Why so? Why do you agree?
Um, I would agree because I think when you look at the people who are successful and are making money, don't mind sharing that with others, and the people who aren't have a hard time.
Well, what about people who are low vibration, negative thinking people and also have made money? That's my point. I think
Oh,
there's
right.
many people who are greedy and have made money. But my experience is those people with a negative mindset are not the kind that like to share information or mentor. Maybe you know somebody like that who does. So in which case my experience is my experience and that's all it is. But so what do you think, Barney? High vibration people with money like to share, low vibration people with money don't?
Oh, yeah, 100%. I missed that um, little detail, but
Oh,
yeah.
that was all right. That was my fault for not being clear. So I'm glad we
Oh,
went
okay.
back over it.
But
All
yeah,
right. So go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say. I mean, and we've met people. I think that's where the quote unquote stigma comes from. That money's the root of all evil, or people that have money that are, greedy or whatever. That there's just those are just low vibration people. There's people like Gary and Mary Young that talk about the hands, more hands, money in the hands of good people does good things. And I just think that when we're using the oils and walking in health and wellness and abundance, that we're vibrating at a higher level, and people are attracted to it, and it's
Absolutely.
an empowering feeling.
So if you would do me a favor and advance to the last slide, and I'm going to let everybody know that first, if you don't have money right now, that's okay. All of my, if you don't have the funds to buy the book at Life Science Publishers, it's the 1995 chi2b.com is my website where you can get my tips for free. So chi-to-be.com is the website, and if you go there, you will see a button for attraction tips, and click there and you can subscribe, and I will send you a free tip every week. I only send out one a week, so there's no overwhelm or confusion, and it's going to be something that will help lift your vibration higher as you use your oils to be able to be more productive and move forward towards your wellness, because money in the hands of the right people goes into wellness. So it costs money to buy our oils. It costs money to get our products. First, we take care of ourselves. When we've got everything we need, then we have more money to be able to give and serve others. So what I want to say to you, though, is if you are ready to go past the free tips, I have a program called the 60 Days to Success program, where I guarantee you that if you have a goal, any goal, it could be to improve your wellness, it could be to attract a certain number of people, it could be to get to platinum from gold. Within that 60 days, because remember I said early on, it takes about 60 to 180 days to shift your mindset. When you get more people involved in supporting you to stay consistent and focused, you can do it faster than the 180 days. So I'm just going to invite folks that if you want to know how to stop being held back by your fears and your blocks from the past, and you want to start being able to attract what you desire and deserve, like more money, and you want to stop what I call perfectionism and other people call procrastination, and you want to embrace abundance without feeling overwhelmed any more than you might already feel, and you want to improve personal and or business relationships, and you want to receive uplifting support from a variety of people who are already successful, and you want to be able to achieve goals with ease and velocity for the rest of your life, I invite you to click on the website that's there. It's 60 days, so 60 days to success dot chi dash to dash be.com. So 60 days to success dot chi dash to dash be.com / start here / kind of a long link that you'll learn more about my 60 Days to Success program there. And it would be my joy to take this conversation even further and to invite you in to a private group that I have of folks who are absolutely achieving success every day in any area, in every area of their life. And with that, Barney, I'm going to turn our call back over to you to close it up.
For sure, Stacy. Thank you so much. I think that more people need to and will continue to hear this. And what's really neat about it is just that we've actually, I don't know if I've actually communicated this to you or even our presenters yet, but we were finding that so many people are getting such great value on these calls and just not all able to make it on, and then putting it up on the website. We've now made them available and are going to be making them available where people can find them on our YouTube channel. And it's going to really, I think, a lot of the brilliance and wisdom, especially contained in this presentation here, Stacey, where there really could be, I think I would put them in the category of seemingly subtle changes, but very powerful changes that can make a big difference in your life and our lives and everyday lives to be more easily reached by those that are in need, especially when it is on YouTube. So that's going to be pretty exciting. And I want to say thank you and congratulations, all of you on the call tonight, taking and making the time out of your schedule to sit down and just really focus on your life, your business, your future, your team, your family. It's just such a huge blessing to be able to invest that time in your future. And so I wish you guys a great night, a great evening, a great day, especially if you're in Australia. If you're in Europe, you're probably not listening because it's early in the morning. But yeah, this has been a great call, Stacy. Thank you again. And I encourage you to go to her website there and fill out the form and or opt in, whatever she has on that page, so that you can stay connected, because Stacy's always sharing great, positive, awesome things.
Thank you, Barney. It's fabulous to be here. And thanks to everybody who participated with us tonight.
Have a great night, everybody.